All right, welcome to another video from the chart readers. Hey, I sincerely appreciate the time you are spending here, and hopefully you are learning some good things. If you haven't already, please subscribe on YouTube. And hey, if you have not yet already, check out the website, chartreaders.com. We have all the videos that we've ever made. And then at the bottom, I have a weekly email that I'm sending. It's really cool. It's actually grown a bit, which is very exciting, but completely free. All you need is your email. And really, I've been talking about how the market moves a little more than these individual tickers. But hey, again, I always say it's very important. So what are we doing today? This is actually a new ticker I'm adding to the energy and oil sector. So nonetheless, that is what we're going to do, energy and oil. So as always, we're going to use our 5 moving averages. I don't have any, so I'm going to draw some on this video, but I'm going to make some horizontal support and resistance lines. And then again, we'll wind it out with the 2 lower indicators down here. So SCO, so I've mentioned this ticker on a couple replies actually, and I thought it was actually well worth sharing here. So this is ProShare Ultra Short crude oil. All right, I skipped DJ USB, but yeah, the main words that matter are really ultra short and then crude oil. So there's a bunch of different ProShare short and ultra short tickers. I suggest you kind of look into that. This one specifically is for crude oil, right? So this is basically the opposite of what individual tickers will do. So if this ProShare short crude oil is bad today, again we'll go over it, but that's a bad day, we'll see actually the opposite on a lot of our oil tickers that we watch normally. So this is a real good one to just keep your eye on, right? And hopefully that was a good explanation, but get to know these ProShare short and ProShare ultra short tickers. That's your homework. So what are we looking at? Obviously, I'm going to make my lines, right? But we had a very good run, actually back to here, a very good run of basically staying with the 8, right? Excuse me. There was a drop right here, and it came all the way down. But again, this cluster of 2 lines was really good at saving it, right? From there, we pop back up over the 8 and basically make a secondary run that looks a lot similar to this, right? We see a big drop today, right? We've had a little more than a full week of trading. That was good. And hey, right now we're technically under the 8. It looks like, right, that's a really ugly RSI. It looks like we might be coming down all the way to maybe even the 20 down here, right? There are a few lines I see that I would be making right away. So this one up here, this one right here. And then I know it's kind of hidden, but I'm going to use this one back here. I saw it in the corner, the lone green in that sea of red right there. So that's up too short, sorry. That's pretty much exactly where it was, but whatever. Give or take. I'm not looking for accuracy here, right? So I'm looking for accuracy. I'm not looking for perfection. That's what I wanted to say. So again, it looks like it's coming up to the first support where we did, like I said, close under the 8. So I can see us really coming to here for sure. This is not a line I drew, but it is for sure a natural resistance. And look, it actually lines up almost perfectly. Yeah, it does, right, to under this guy. So this is going to be another, and this one will be a little bit stronger than this guy, I would say, right? And then this looks like a pretty good resistance actually, because, support. This is a number of days back, right? So that's a pretty good historic short-term one. And then obviously the red and the blue, right? But again, we've seen this guy ride the 8 pretty well. It's fallen but bounced, right? So let's see if the fact that it's not a cluster makes it a little harder to bounce or what. But again, we should expect to see good results on some of our oil tickers, right? Let me look at the weekly real quick. Again, this weekly has pretty much been trying to ride the 8, right? Again, there were a couple moments where it didn't, but it does look like this 20 was able to save it. And yeah, really, it is working its way up. And I mean, look, if we can break this 31 line, there's a pretty good gap right there. So that's well more than 10% too. So yeah, interesting here. Take a look at this. But again, look, RSI is kind of making it look like it's cooling off, but yeah, never really got too high. Never even touched the 80s, right? So that actually could be a little reassuring here. And it definitely made a run trying to test it and fail, right? So that could be good for some of these oil stocks also long term. So let's get into some of the familiar ones. So OXY, again, look at that candle, right? What happened today? Let me see. Did we actually close over the... So check it out. OXY closed at 61.38. Oh, hold on. Yeah, it's at 61.38. And then the moving average is at 61.26. Perfect. So we are technically over the 8. We've broken one resistance. Let me zoom in a little bit. We did. We broke one resistance, right? And then it looks like we tested this guy, but still at least closed over. That's a real nice RSI. And then again, the fact that SCO looked ugly makes me feel good about this petroleum, again, a crude oil related stock, right? Just look at this right here, okay? This is definitely a hard resistance. 1, 2, 3 of the 5 lines plus one of my manual ones, right? So that could be hard to break, but hey, look, there's about almost 5% here, right? So it could be an interesting channel. If we can get over this line, this is the much safer place to put your money, right? Yeah, so again, really good day actually on the daily. I would say tomorrow matters, right? If we can get over 61.58, that will be big. Let's just say 61.60, right? If we can get over 61.60, that'll be really important. Otherwise, it might have just been a test on this 8 and come back down, right? Because we've seen it here. It broke actually a little better right here and then just worked its way back down, right? But again, I am liking what I saw on SCO. Ugly on the weekly, definitely still ugly on the weekly, but hey, again, maybe we'll see. I don't like this weekly at all. That's actually a little sad to see. But right, again, same kind of comments, right? There's a lot that needs to happen to get back over the 8, which really sucks, right? So be careful here. I think that took away a little of my optimism from SCO, but again, at least short term, it does look good. Maybe it's not a 2-week run per se, but it could be a good 1-week run. I'll at least say that much. INDO. INDO had a pretty good day here, right? So just like we saw on OXY, we break one resistance, right? Because we were under it and then go back up. And then we definitely close over the 8, right? We made a nice little attempt at breaking this 360 right here as well. But this looks a little better, right? Obviously a stronger close over the 8. This also still looks nice on the RSI. What number is this? 50. Okay, so interesting. It's still on the lower side. Even if it doesn't go super wild, it at least looks like it still has a bit more to go up on the RSI, and just not as bad. But again, this is a cluster for sure. You have 2 lines plus one of my manual ones, right? Today was a good day. Again, I would feel a little more confident if we can break 630 tomorrow on INDO. But again, 11% back-to-back greens. Clearly looks like we're having this curve that I've been actually mentioning since a little bit in the beginning of this week, right? So different sectors are kind of showing this at least short-term curve, which is good, right? If you are at least a standard buyer and seller of stocks and options, right? Let's look at this weekly. Again, nothing spectacular per se, right? There's definitely a hard downtrend here that hopefully we break. But look, it's still early in the week. I realize it's kind of middle of the week, right? But the next 2 days could be really important, right? So at least off to a good start. One more time on that 630 line. If we can get over 630, that'll be a little more reassuring, right? But still, a lot needs to happen before we get over the 8 on the weekly, and that's definitely where the real money happens, right? So INDO right there. CEI, Camber Energy. Okay, not as wild of a curve. Again, I still see the curve. This one doesn't have the multiple days, right? The last couple that we saw, I think, had 2 days at least green to green. But I'm still seeing the upward curve. I'm still seeing at least a relatively positive RSI. It's definitely a really low RSI, right? But I'm going to make at least one line. I can do, this is the last green we saw. But again, the real problem with this one, I'm going to just do it on the weekly so I don't zoom out so much. We're all the way at the bottom, right? This is all-time lows, and again, when there's all-time lows, there's no real new support lines I can make, right? This is the last green guy, so I guess that's the newest one. But again, for me, I'm going to be a big fan of getting over the 8. This one hasn't even gotten over the 8, right? So the other two, OXY and INDO, are still technically a little more bullish. I'm going to skip the weekly. I kind of showed it real quick, but again, all-time lows, trying to turn around, hopefully. Okay, so look, IMPP. This is technically, you know, I know this is a red candle per se, but that's a positive one for me, right? Because we get a big monster day right here. We at least stay above it, right? We don't close here or here or here or here, right? For me, closing up here is still positive, and then a good confirmation today breaking the 8. So 3 of the 4 that we've seen have broken the 8. All of them pretty much have a good RSI. And again, SCO doing poorly is why a lot of these are doing well, right? Again, the petroleum stock here, right? This one was actually went a little bit bigger, quicker, right? So IMPP could have been a little bit of an indicator that SCO was about to turn off. But yeah, real good here. Again, same kind, not as hard a cluster, right? This is a little bit more opened out. So I can see this coming up to 35 cents actually. Again, make sure wherever your money is, you can see more decimals out, right? This view right here, this is only for my indicators. I don't actually have any money here. So you see it says simulated buying power, right? Like none of my real money's here. But if you are trading in anything that is in the penny world, try to see 4 decimals out. It'll do you really well actually. I'll take a look at the weekly here. Let's just take a look. Again, a lot needs to happen, but hey, that's nice. It's at least definitely trying to make a good move on the RSI. But yeah, for me, nothing really matters until that 35 cent right there, right? But at least a lot of similarity in that first half of this energy sector. So uranium, a little bit different from the what is it called, the crude oil one, right? So you can find stuff that's related to uranium. I have a lithium one coming up. I have a nickel one coming up, right? So you can find corresponding inverses. But look, 3 days in a row, boom, boom, boom. Look at this, just downtrend, 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 starting a curve, which is great. Hey, this is a pretty, just in general, we broke 1, 2, 3 lines over the last couple days, really over the last 2 days. And, you know, we're at a pretty tight cluster here, right? If we can get over this 100, that'd be great. But then again, this is going to be a resistance. Then these are going to be a resistance, right? So I would wait until 4 if you're not in already. Because again, here onward is a much safer place to trade than really these next couple little tests coming up. But hey, if you got in early, you're making a nice run, which is great, right? Looking at the weekly, so check it out, right? It looks like we bounced pretty much. Actually, it does look like a little bit more of my line, but I'll give credit down here as well to the 100, even though it's a little far. But yeah, we pretty much stopped this horrible drop. We get a nice bounce. Again, pretty tight cluster, especially at this 389 line, right? So be careful. Try to get over, like I said, 4. That's going to be the safest place to move. GEVO, hey, again, look at this. Same curve, a good 2 days, closing over both the 8 and our line. I love that. Not as good an RSI as I'd like to see, but again, it looks like there's a pretty good channel. There might be some lines here. I could see one of these kind of being a test, basically 250, give or take. But yeah, you might be able to squeeze in a 10%er if you play this channel right here. So watch this tomorrow, actually. Again, I wish the RSI was a little bit better. Yeah, look, weekly, again, like I said, it looks like there's a downtrend it's trying to break, but look, I want to be up here onward. Really, I want to be, oh man, and then yeah, this guy's got an ugly weekly. GEVO, you're kind of looking for some pops here and there for now until I see something a little more certain, right? Sorry to rush through these, but I try not to make these more than 15 minutes. LIACF, okay, so check it out. Again, same kind of view, right? Making this curve, it's gotten over the 8. I'm not sure if it actually got over or landed here, but clearly got over today. One of the uglier RSIs. This might be the only one that the red is technically over the green. This is such a tight line as well, right? So, yeah, I think there's again, we've seen some better tickers than I would say this one. But hey, look, on the weekly, looks like it got to the 200 and bounced, right? So again, the bigger the moving average, the more likely it is to be a support line. And then, let me go to the daily before I change. Last on the list, again, sorry to rush through the last one, is TMC. So Again, another tight cluster. Look, if this thing can get over 116, that's a good place to trade right there, right? I'll put a line here. That's for sure going to be a resistance. But again, this is safer to trade than this right here, right? Because you have this blue line, you have the 8, you still have this, and again, remember, we are not technically over the 8, right? There are a number of other tickers on this one that looked a lot better. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry to rush through it. I think adding SCO made this go a little longer than I thought, but again, no new lines needed to be drawn across most of these. So I hope you are learning. And again, just ask any questions and I will get to them quickly. So thank you so much.